The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. Everyone feeling liberated? Everyone feeling the greatness this morning? You got to comment on it, man. We're talking about markets pushing 4 to 5 to the Russell right now, 5.21% to the downside, folks. We got tariffs, and we got tariffs everywhere, and there are some dramatic percentages. And I'm sure there's going to be negotiations that take place, but you better be paying attention to what is going on right now, folks, because I had people in the Tiger's Den, in the YouTube Tiger's Den, tell me to calm down yesterday, getting a little excited. Folks, there's no reason to calm down when there are stakes at play that are going on right now. And we've never seen something like this before. And, you're hearing logic that doesn't make sense, period. End of story. Don't be ashamed to speak out in reality, folks, okay? Don't be shamed into not speaking reality. Is a better way to say it, okay? There's a lot of pressure here, like somehow you're anti-American to speak up. And yeah, you're going to hear it today. You don't want to hear it, turn it off, man. You want to live in a bubble, okay? And you want to pretend like nothing matters. You can go back to living in a bubble. You want to hear about what's actually happening, you can watch the program, okay? This is my program. We're going to do what we're going to do today. And you can expect some fireworks when we get the markets down 4, 5, 6% before the opening bell even rings this morning, okay? So, we have the S&Ps off 218 points, 3.82%. We traded higher dramatically yesterday on very light volume, and we got the S&Ps down by 220 points. We're going to hit potentially some limit levels today. We're going to see. There's going to be volatility in both directions. But yeah, we're talking about limit levels. Those limits, the first limit's going to come in, if it comes, at 7%. You're talking about a Russell right now that's down 5.25% right now. Remarkable, man. Markets right across the board. Bitcoin down about $5,300 right now. We have crude down $5. Good morning, Darth. Should I calm down again today? We having fun? We having greatness? Yeah, you're the man. Yeah. Down $5, down at 66.65. Gold from 3,200 to 3,084. We have yields plummeting as everybody sells stocks and says, what am I doing in equities? I will hide in fixed income no matter what the yield is right now. We got the 10-year. Excuse me, a little bit stuffed up still. But we got the 10-year right now. Trading at 4.02%. How about that? So you have OPEC on the oil front. They're accelerating crude output. That's sending crude lower as well with everything going on. We have yields plummeting. We have our currency weakening as we start a trade war in dramatic fashion that we have not seen ever, folks, okay? Don't think this dollar is going to stop. Don't think today is the worst it can get. Okay, nobody knows where it's going to go. I'm hopeful for the best always, okay? This is not a doom and gloom scenario. This is just talking about what's happening, okay? And yeah, anybody can say, give it some time, okay? This is far worse than anybody had anticipated, okay? And so you can say, give it some time all you want. There's no real plan here, okay? The adults are not in charge, and at some point, somebody needs to speak up. You can disagree all you want. Bring some facts to the table. I'd love to have the conversation. Okay? Love to have the conversation. But where are the facts, folks, besides all the greatness? When I listened to the president last night, it sounds like the last 40 years, America hasn't had a single person that's, succeeded, that somehow we've been in the turmoil. Meanwhile, the richest have gotten richer, the poor have gotten poorer, and somehow now it's not to blame on the lazy poor people, it's to blame on all the foreign nations that have done us so much harm. Doesn't compute, folks. The conversation that doesn't take place right now is that it's very simple to have simple conversations that don't ding into difficult conversations that involve nuance, okay? Tariffs. When you're playing tariffs and you're talking about tariffs with many nations that are less developed, okay? It's one thing when we're talking Canada, Mexico, they've been spared so far. You have the agreement that they're participating in that Trump signed in his last term, okay? But whether you're talking about China, a little bit of a less, but here's one thing to consider, okay? When tariffs get put in place, many times they're actually to add fairness for less competitive nations, right? The U.S. is the most advanced, technologically advanced, competitive, advanced nation in the world. And so I'm not going to harp on it, but the thing that never gets mentioned that is in play here is that if less developed nations have equal trading partners with the U.S., the U.S. would come in and destroy every single domestic industry across the board in many nations, okay? So if we want to trade with nations that can't compete with us, and many nations cannot compete with us, okay, the only way for that competitive landscape to be anywhere near fair is that they are able to sell goods, okay, at a different price point because they cannot compete. That's the one thing. And so they're not going to just lay back and just accept things because that's not how it can play out. Yeah. That's not how it would have played out. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. And, and it's a great question, Steve. Is this capitulation? No, this is not capitulation because this is the beginning of a trade war. In wars, nobody wins. So here's where I go from there, right? The president right now catches a lot of grief because he doesn't assign blame, as much blame at least, towards Russia, as many people feel like he should. When he talks about Russia and Ukraine, he just wants to end. This is a war that Russia stopped. Yesterday, I heard him talking about the human toll that the war was taking, right? 2,500 people are dying. First he said every day, and then he said something like 2,700 people are dying every week. He said the humanity, the wars need to stop, okay? He didn't care who started it. He just said the war, because wars are bad. Well, guess what, folks? Trade wars are bad too. They're bad for everybody, right? Here he is talking about a real war. He won't even care about Russia, who's by far the protagonist that invaded a country like Ukraine, causing hundreds of thousands of deaths for their own people. And then he's going to start a trade war, okay? And he's arguing that he's going to become the winner. In wars, everybody loses, folks, okay? My dad used to say it all the time. In trade wars, everybody loses. In wars, everybody loses. It was amazing to see the president making the case that in wars, everybody loses, when he's talking about Ukraine, in the same speech in the Rose Garden last night. If you were listening, you heard it, okay? He's making the case that everybody loses, okay, all this stuff about the humanity, and then on the same speech, he's starting a trade war that somehow we're going to become the winners of, and then everybody else is going to lose. In wars, everybody loses, folks. So think a little big picture right now, okay? Yeah, and we'll go from there. We'll break down some equities. But no, this is not how capitulation works, man. And no, the market doesn't need, a 10 to 20% pullback because it's getting it on the heels of an upheaval of international trade that's brought tremendous prosperity to our country and abroad. So we'll talk some equities, folks. S&P's off 210 points. NASDAQ 100 off 877. We're coming right back, folks. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Welcome back, folks. S&P's up by 213, NASDAQ 100 up by 880. Listen to my brain. Dow off 1265 right now. You back it up to the S&P's. We take a look at things. That's a weekly. Let's put it back to a daily right now. Yeah, and we got quite an acceleration when things really accelerated, but we got markets below where we were on March 13th. S&Ps were down there at 5509. We're trading at 5502. Yeah, you're talking about some accelerations, man. NASDAQ 100, we had lows of about 19,139. We're trading at 18,884 right now. You talk about some runs, man, to the downside. Yeah, we jump over to the dollar. And this is the tough part. You know, EKS, we have people in the YouTube Tigers Den. You're saying, oh, weak dollar's great. That means that we can just supply the world with U.S. products, okay? I thought we were talking longer term. What about longer term? This is where I don't believe that these difficult conversations are taking place to the degree that they need to, because there's very simple things that can be said. The president said a lot of simple things that really make no sense when you dig into them, folks. I'm hopeful, okay, but hope isn't a plan. Okay, hope isn't a plan based off reality. Okay, are we talking long-term EKS? That's the plan? That we're going to destroy the value of the U.S. currency, and that's the plan for how my son, who's 4 years old, inherits a country of prosperity because our dollar is so worthless through the policies enacted that we're able to supply the rest of the world? No, that's not a good long-term plan to destroy the dollar. Okay, I saw other comments out there in our own Tigers Den last night saying that the Treasury Secretary is going to love this. Yeah, let's delete that one. Okay, that the Treasury Secretary, I mean, this is that they're masters at work, right? That, oh man, they're driving the 10-year yield down as they want to, and they're going to get us cheap debt, right? You're going to hear that said. That's nonsense as well, folks. Okay? That's the same thing as saying by torpedoing the stock market and pushing everybody into yields. Yeah, and I know I'm fired up today, but there's a lot of nonsense that's getting thrown around, folks. Okay? And if nobody stands up to the nonsense, people are going to start believing the nonsense. Okay? Destroying the dollar is not a good long-term plan. No, not a good long-term plan. I thought this was about short-term pain for long-term growth, right? The only way that you rationalize that what is going on right now is that the policies that are put in place on a longer-term basis are going to be successful for our country. If your plan is that you destroy the value of our currency across the globe, and that's going to lead to prosperity, that's not going to lead to prosperity, okay? If your plan is that you're going to destroy equities and everybody sells them so fast that they need to hide somewhere and they all run to fixed income, so that's going to push down yields, which is going to allow our deficit to be less costly, no, that's not a good long-term plan as well. That you tank the equity market, drive up the cost of fixed income, and therefore lower our cost of capital going forward. Not a good long-term plan. Okay, these are things that are going to get said as a way to rationalize what you're seeing in the market going on as a good thing. Don't forget to believe your eyes. It's crazy, okay? You're hearing that tariffs are a tax cut. You're hearing that when the dollar gets decimated, it's good for us. You're hearing that when stocks go down and yields go down, that that's good for America, and the Treasury Secretary is excited. Okay? That's not how things work on a long-term basis, folks. All that is rationalizing the decimation going on right now in our economy and in our markets on the premise of what things look like going forward on this type of a front. I love looking at deep conversations, digging into them, okay? That's not what's going on at all right now, folks, okay? Not what's going on at all right now. And the tough part is that you don't hear the conversations that have to go with the reason why those imbalances take place. I mean, to hear the president last night blaming all of our presidents for the horrible way they treat a country. I don't blame the other countries. I blame American presidents for ruining America, whatever he's saying. It's nonsense, okay? Absolute nonsense. We have had generational wealth created like we've never seen, okay? And the wealth gap is just larger than it's ever been. And so what the president's going to do is he has all these tariffs, okay? That gentleman that got out there that wants his job back in Detroit, I hope he gets it, man, all right? I get that part of the conversation. He seemed like a great guy. He wants what's best for him. He thinks that's the deal. Okay, that's great. But folks, at the same time that we're going to get these tariffs, which are going to be inflationary, don't believe anybody that tells you they're not, especially in the short term. All right, you want to make some big long-term case? Yeah, it's very difficult to disprove what the world's going to be like when you cut off trade partners and change everything. You can always say, there's going to be another article that says something different. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. No, nobody knows what's going to happen. So what's the point of anything? Okay? What is the point of anything? And it's a bummer where politics go because it makes it very difficult for people to think reasonably on both sides. Okay? Yeah, one man's take, folks, okay? But very difficult, some reason, for people to think concretely right now with what's going on, okay? The logic of everything does not compute, folks. And I'm hopeful that things get reversed. But, listening to Lutnick for a few minutes, that guy's bad news, man. And, yeah, that has nothing to do with my market take, okay? But listening to him was not a soothing interview, okay? It makes no sense in reality. So at the same time, you have all these tariffs taking place, right? And you have gentlemen up there from Detroit getting up there saying, man, I'm not getting a fair deal. We're going to have tariffs that are going to be inflationary, and at the same time, we're going to get tax cuts for the wealthiest of the wealthy and for businesses. That's not the recipe for success on a countrywide scale, folks, in the future. It's not. There's a lot of, whether it's anger, right, in politics right now. And, yeah, the president has a lot of support, even with his own party. And I encourage you to go seek out what some of those had said in terms of Marco Rubio, Secretary of State himself. He's going to have some interesting phone calls, I'm sure. All right. They all had an opinion on tariffs at one point until Trump and his supporters stepped in. And now anyone around the Trump and his circle can't say anything. Well, I encourage you to say something, folks, okay? Because everybody, there's this whole aura out there that, you're just being a hater, right? I see it in the what about Biden? Harris would have been so much worse. What does that have to do with anything, Darth? What does that have to do with anything? Harris would have been worse. We're not living in the past. We're living in the present, folks. Okay? The whataboutisms don't matter. That's whataboutism, right? What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? What about what's happening right now? What about what's happening right now? Okay? We're hearing that tariffs are tax cuts. We're hearing that equities have traded higher for too long. They probably need a pullback. We're hearing that the dollar getting decimated is good for international travel. And we're hearing that yields dropping because everyone's selling equities and buying fixed income is actually a good thing. Yeah. So, we'll see what happens. We're coming back for the opening bell. We got a half hour left.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, traversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
All right, welcome back, folks. We get the market open. We get the S&Ps off by 194 points, 3.4% to the downside. NASDAQ 100 off by 4.1%. Dow off by 1,130 points. And listen, we're going to get some two-way volatility. Okay, we're going to get some runs probably today that are percentage, maybe 2% higher. We'll see how the day finishes. This volatility will continue, okay? And yes, I think that the first salvo was probably one of the hardest, right? They're going to try and bring it first, and this is just speculation right now, okay? They're going to try and bring it first. They'll bring the pain initially. They knew it would be a bad day, I'm sure, and then they're going to try and allow Trump to come to the rescue, okay? You got to understand human psychology right now with what's going on because everything is in flux every single day, all right? Not surprising. We saw it take place originally, right? What was the original day when it was February 2nd, February 3rd? Trump said the tariffs were coming, then he rides to the rescue and delays them or whatever happens, right? You're going to see some similar stuff. You're going to see announcements that are supposed to come out probably today or tomorrow. You'll catch some pops on the upside. But, boy, you better be paying attention, folks, okay? Because I think the writing's on the wall, and we'll leave it at that. Yeah. And, you know, as I said, don't buy into the arguments that our economy going into the crapper is a good deal because we're going to have to pay less for debt for our country. Don't buy into that, okay? Don't buy into the argument that, you know, destroying the value of our currency is actually a good thing, okay? Don't buy into the fact that the markets went up for too long, okay? Try and imagine, when everybody says that, try and imagine them saying the same exact thing if Biden had won. And then you laugh yourself to sleep because it's such a joke, okay? Strong words, strong tone, but they're necessary, okay? Yeah, you know, and Darth, it's cool, man, but this is nonsense. There's no adults in the room right now with arguments based on facts, based on history, based on anything we've seen. Everything is just a trust me, I know what I'm doing, we're going to be fine. Then what's the point of discussing anything if that's the only argument against? Okay, it's important to bring up the arguments that are based on history, education, you know, everything that we've ever learned. That's important too. Okay? Yeah. All right, let's jump around to the Magnificent Seven. See how we're starting off. Apple, 8.25%. So much for hiding for some safety. This one surprised me. Not with the tariffs, but it did surprise me because Apple had held up so well recently, right? It was one of the strongest ones out there. And yeah, sorry we didn't have Teddy on. That was already this week. He couldn't make it Monday. He had something coming up Wednesday, but we'll get him back on. Don't worry. Yeah. Apple off by 8% right now. And yeah, I'm fired up. Thank you, Double Broad. You know, listen, I got a 4-year-old, man, okay? And I'm so hopeful, you know, when it comes to, yeah, you know, like there's not a fan of Trump in general, but there's certain things that I definitely agree with. Okay, so when somebody wins that you don't agree with in general over everything, I'm super hopeful that the things I do agree with, which are many, okay, which are many. You're talking about immigration. You're talking about some of the culture stuff I agree with, okay, all this stuff. But I want an economy in 18 years where Tommy can come out of college and it isn't based on trade wars still, okay? I want to be able to have conversations that are based on reality with other politicians, and somehow the whole conversation doesn't get shifted to nonsense, okay? And yes, you can bring it back to China, okay, and the tariffs there. It's a great point. Much different than what's going on right now, folks, okay? Much different. You're talking about one country. You're talking about China. You're talking about China interceding in our international diplomacy issues. There's so much going on with China, okay? When you break it down to every single country that exists, and it's not every country, okay? Every single country that exists, folks, there are so many countries that cannot compete with the advanced state of the U.S. economy, the economies of scale we have, the competitive advantages we have, the funding our government pushes, right? Tesla receives billions of dollars of funding from American governments. How are international countries going to compete with American companies that receive massive subsidies from our government? That's not talked about, okay? It's not a real conversation. The reason why we have competitive advantages is because of our economy. And that's usually where tariffs come into play, right? The real they're difficult conversations, and I would love to have them. And we definitely need some differences going forward, right? You know, the debt is a huge concern. One of the things I'm most hopeful with is that it's totally bogus that Tommy is going to get, and this is, I encourage anybody, because this is the big conversation going on right now, is big picture. I love big picture. I'll take some pain for 2 years. I'll take some pain for 4 years in this economy if I think it's going to end up best for my son, okay? folks, that's not what's happening right now. Okay? Plain and simple. Very difficult for me to believe that, yields dropping because everybody's selling equities is going to be great. I was super hopeful that the debt gets under control, right? Make some cuts. Folks, the cuts that need to be made, though, are in the difficult conversations. Now, I was encouraged to see Defense Department cuts. A little bit controversial. I was excited because we need to make the cuts in the areas that matter, like the Defense Department, right? Social Security, Medicare. That's the only way that happens. It's not from cutting Health and Human Services where they're dumping even team leads doing massive investigations, right? Massive investigations into new drugs, Parkinson's, okay? So that's where the things are getting clouded, It's unfortunate that this is going to be the solution because this is not going to be the solution, folks, okay? And to hear the president talk about the last 40 or 50 years, I don't understand how that reality is somehow the basis of this, okay? You would think that we're living in the dark ages of, just poverty across the board. The wealth gap wasn't talked about at all yesterday. What happened to the wealth gap? Why wasn't that talked about? How is this going to help the wealth gap? Why is nobody talking about the wealth gap? What about that part of things for the future of society? What about the wealth gap, Mr. President? How is this going to contribute to an ever-expanding wealth gap that started in the Reagan administration? None of that's talked about, folks, okay? And the last part is, I don't understand how nobody's doing the simple math of tariffs, and I say last part, right? It's never going to end right now. But tariffs are inflationary. You want to bring those jobs back to America? That's great. You want them made by American workers? That's great. You better believe inflation's coming if that's what you want, because American workers need to get paid American wages, and if you want American wages, you're going to pay for it. So you can't have it both ways. If you're out there arguing it's great for American jobs, you better be arguing, and inflation's going to come, but we'll get over it, okay? You better argue that the tax increases that are coming with tariffs are going to be spectacular because of our debt, and you should not be arguing that tariffs are tax cuts, that somehow tariffs are going to be tax cuts. That's the frustration that's playing out, folks, okay? The conversations aren't real. They're not based on reality. And don't be afraid to speak up when everybody tries to shame you like somehow you don't believe in American greatness. You're going to need it because you're going to face a lot of pushback. Yeah, because not many people are speaking up. Not as many that were speaking up that probably felt the same way just 4 years ago even. Markets catch a little bit of a bid on the open. We're right back to where we opened at about 6 o'clock last night. We'll take a look at some more equities. We'll talk some jobless claims when we get back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's off 193. A little bit of a bounce on the open. As I said, you're going to get some rip-roaring rallies, some rip-roaring declines. I would expect some news, okay? They have a plan, the Oval Office. They do, okay? I'm sure they understood the market reaction because they know the expectations, okay? They knew the expectations. They knew they were going to be harsher. And it has been the approach, you come out harsh, and then Trump comes to save the day. So I'm preparing you. There's going to be rallies today, okay? There's going to be rallies in both directions. We'll see where we play out. Amazon, down almost 8% today. We talked about Apple shares. Yeah, trading lower, down by 9.3% right now for Apple. You jump over to Google shares, 3.6% to the downside. We jump over to NVIDIA, down by 6% right now. Tesla shares down by 3.7% right now. Netflix, down by 2%. We jump over to some retailers. Walmart's been a great safe haven. You know, you want to pay attention. If you're looking for a little bit of safety, okay, we thought we had it in Apple. Now you've got a real glimpse of what's at stake. And yeah, look at Walmart, man. You charge higher on the open. Pay attention to what's going on if you're looking to hide in some equities, folks. That's the type of move you want to see on today, okay? Not what you want to see in Apple right now. And things can change, all right? And I imagine, you know, Apple got touted last night by the president talking about $500 billion. I imagine they're going to get a call as Apple's down almost 10%. 10%. There's a lot of people that buy stocks on margin, folks. And yeah, I hope you weren't doing it going into yesterday's action. Okay? Well, we're talking about Apple shares back to last June, and you go even further than that, okay? We're approaching back to where we were in 2021 on Apple. You were trading at 180. 2021, that's 4 years of wipeout. Whoo-wee. Amazon shares? Yeah, there we are, folks. 177 was the high in 2020, 5 years ago. Wiped out. Okay? Whoo-wee. Man. And, you know, I got to call it out every time. MROS, all right? We got Tiger's Den YouTube members. No, it was not time for markets to tank regardless of the news. Not an adult conversation, MROS. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Don't be shamed into not calling people out. They're getting check marks. You agree with that? Fantastic. Okay, that's not an adult conversation. Stocks are going to go down no matter what. Why are you blaming the president? Regardless of the news, it was time to go down. No, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Okay? Yeah. Absolute nonsense. I'm over it, man. Okay? That is nonsense. Period. And I'm sorry for calling you out, but you want to stand on that opinion? Give me a real opinion. Don't just tell me equities are going to go down no matter what. No, absolute nonsense. Okay? I'm over that. Absolute nonsense. What was that? How many times did I say it? Okay? Yeah. And I'm sorry, but that's nonsense. That's just ignoring reality. All right? And I'm not going to ignore reality when the stakes are my son's economic well-being. Okay? Yeah. Give me some reality. Give me some facts. Tell me why the market going down is a good thing and base it off reality, and don't just tell me it was time to go down no matter what. All right, let's check out yields. All right, chopping around right where we're about 845 right now with the 10-year, flirting with 4%, just like that. And, we used to talk about, not used to, just having conversations about real estate, right? It would be great to be in real estate and have lower yields, but sometimes careful what you ask for, because I often found myself saying, we all want yields to come down when it comes to mortgages, right? Whether you're looking for a house, you're looking to get to a different house, sometimes careful what you ask for, folks, because, there's one thing with rates coming down a little bit when maybe we can get the mortgage market down, 6% would be a great number, considering how long we've been higher than that, right? We've been pushing 7% on mortgages. We've been pushing 6.5%. We could get down to 6%. That would be great for what a monthly payment would do, for the ability to people to move homes, all of this stuff, okay? And intuitively, you'd say to yourself, man, I would love to go back to the days that I can get a 4.5% mortgage, right? Careful what you ask for, because along with a 4.5% mortgage might come economic destruction, okay? And that has nothing to do with the tariff. That's always been the case. It's like, man, if the Fed really gets to a space where they need to cut dramatically, is that going to be the environment you want when securing a mortgage to buy a home? And that's the tough part of that conversation. So keep that one in mind as we go forward, as we have yields pushing 4% right now. But with it, you have a complete decimation of equity portfolios across the board right now, which is, dicey to put things bluntly. We talk about continuing claims. You see that? Highest since November of 2021. That number, 1.9 million. They were looking for about 1.87 million. That's continuing claims. Initial claims, 219,000. These numbers come in at 830. The 4-week average, about 223,000. Excuse me. So pretty non-alarming numbers there. I mean, 2 million on a continuing basis. You want to watch that as we continue to rise. But all things considered, 219,000 for initial jobless claims, that's just a pretty healthy churn. So with everything going on today, no real news on the jobless claims sector. We got a lot bigger fish to fry. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, we're not dealing with garbage. Gene's gone, man. Okay, this conversation is going to be an adult conversation, all right? And, it's not happening, folks, okay? We're going to educate people here, okay? We're going to educate people at TFNN. And, this whole debacle of nonsense, it's over. You want to talk nonsense and tell me that, and I'm sorry, Emraz, that you're getting the heat, but that's nonsense, man. Anybody that tells you, stocks had to go down, tell them straight to their face that's nonsense, okay? And make sure they hear you, because somebody's got to stand up for reality right now, all right? I got 1 hour this morning to do it, and the only thing that gets me excited is educating people, folks, okay? Educating people. And the lack of education is stark in terms of the conversation that's around these, because these are difficult conversations. They're not easy. How are we going to solve the debt? That's the biggest conversation out there. And when somebody tells you the best way to solve the debt is to tank the market so that yields drop, you should question their logic, and you should do it proudly and not be ashamed at questioning the logic in the name of American greatness. Okay, like somehow we're not great right now. Like somehow our economy is not great right now. It's the thing I fail to understand, man. It's just nonsense all across the board, man. And it's not happening anymore. Go find somewhere else. Go find, a bubble that they'll believe that you're tanking the dollar, that's good. You're tanking the market, it's good because yields are dropping. Okay? It's not happening, folks. There's too much at stake. And, I got a 4-year-old, which gets me all charged up. And, yeah. S&P's off 187, NASDAQ off 752. We got one more segment, folks. What am I going to say? I don't even know. I'll be back, though. Stay tuned.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps off about 200 points. We got the NASDAQ 100 right now, off about 760 points right now, and we got the Dow off 1,348 points. We take a look at the heat map. Yeah, if you're looking for places to hide, well, you have healthcare, because that was spared for right now, which thank goodness. Okay, the last thing you want is protectionism when it comes to drugs, right, in terms of simple enough said. Consumer staples, check out the pocket of green over there, right? You got Coca-Cola up by 2.3%, Procter & Gamble up by 2.2%, Philip Morris, you want cigarettes? There you go. That's where you can hide. Up 3%. We jump over to utilities, a bit higher as well. What else we got, right? Yeah, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, all higher. Besides that, folks, you got a few in here. Progressive is higher, insurance, everything else, right? Apple off by 9%, Nvidia off by 5% right now, Amazon off by 7.3%. We jump over the financials, JP Morgan off by 5%, Bank of America off by 8.5%. My goodness, right? Berkshire, almost a 1% hit right now. American Express off 7.7%. Some stark numbers, man. Yeah, and then you jump over to with crude falling. Exxon off 2.8% right now. But yeah, you're talking about healthcare because they've been spared. Consumer staples look to be doing well. As markets roll over a bit, and it doesn't look like a lot, but we're getting some movement already this morning. I mean, look at these moves. They don't look like anything compared to last night, but you just traded up 45 points and we've dropped 30, just like that. Yeah, we will get those lines back up, Jim. Thank you. Thank you for the question. I really appreciate it. We're going to get those lines up, folks. I'm going to get on it ASAP because I want to hear from you too. And I want to have the conversations. Thanks for asking, Jim. We'll get on it, man. I appreciate it for sure. All right, folks. Keep those fingers fast. Don't be afraid to make fast trades. Don't let your losses run against you in this market, folks. We're going to get two-way rallies, pressure to the downside, but don't let those happen. Keep those stops tight. And maybe let those profits run wherever you are. Folks, thanks for tuning in. That was a quick hour. I appreciate it, man, and look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Stay tuned for Basil, folks. Have a great one, everybody.